Hello and welcome to Q&A Friday, Q&A Friday. My name's Jason Newland. This is jasonnewland.com. Please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. It is Friday the 11th of April 2025. Now, little problem. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this. What? I don't really know what to do today because of the wonderful things it does. I haven't really had any questions, hardly. Now, does that mean we're at the end of the Q&A Friday? Does that mean that's kind of it now? We sort of stopped doing them, or I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, if I'm honest. So I do have a couple of questions, and I realise one question can take me the whole session, but the idea, what's going on? What's that? Right, okay. So maybe my problem is I posted them on all the different pages instead of just on the Jason Newland's boring group on Facebook, but I posted like the any questions. I think the two things that have been problematic is, first of all, I have produced probably too many recordings, in a sense that the post, hello, do you have any questions for this week's Q&A Friday, 11th of April 2025, which I posted on the 9th, Wednesday, has got kind of hidden by all the other posts that I've posted, because I did 3 recordings yesterday. This will be the second one today. I did 2 the day before that, 2 the day before that. So yes, quite a few, I guess. So I'm thinking, what can I do to cover that? So I got a question from Hillary. Where in Thailand did you visit? And I got another question from Sebastian. Oh, that wasn't a question. Well, podcast when? Don't make me start on my own. So he didn't ask a question. He posted a picture of, do you know on YouTube or on Facebook at the moment, there's all these pictures of like action figures done by AI, and people are doing their own ones. Well, he's done one for me, and it says Uncle Smelly, Hours of Boredom, and it's basically a very, very short, plump man with hardly any hair, wearing pink glasses, and it says comes with several cool dysfunctionalities, ages 9 and up, not ages 5 and up. So that was his thing for me. So it wasn't a question. So I say, hello, do you have any questions for this week's Q&A Friday? Sebastian answers, how aware of you of robbing yourself by not talking to me? Never mind, I'll keep bombarding your DMs and one day you will have to face it. So I say, do you have an actual question? And he says, do you like your action figure I designed for you? So, no, Sebastian, I don't like it. I mean, it's nice that you took the time to, I don't even know what the right word is, to be honest. Uncle Smelly, Hours of Boredom. I mean, the thing is, I don't want to say nice things about him, but Sebastian's been doing AI and images and stuff like that long before AI was even about. He was doing making weird images and videos like 10 years ago. So I'm a little bit scared what he could come up with the new technology. I mean, some of the things he's actually posted are very funny. There's one he did where it's me in a dressing gown, and suddenly all these people just pull my dressing gown off, and it's like a kung fu or karate dojo. So yeah, I do like some new stuff you post, but it's not aimed at making me feel good about myself, is it? So where in Thailand did I go? So that's that one. See if there's any other questions. Any other questions? Nothing on Jason Newland's boring group. Let me bore you to sleep. Let's see if there's anything on that page. Oh, what? Come on. Jason Newland hypnosis. Let's have a look on that page. Is there anything? You never know, there might be something. No, nothing on there. Let me bore you to sleep. Anything on there? I wonder why trains make so much noise sometimes. Might not be a train, actually. Oh, I didn't seem to post it on that one. Okay, fair enough. So did I post it on the Jason Newland hypnotist? All one word. I didn't. Okay, fair enough. So the ones I posted it on, I didn't get any other responses, so only one question. And I don't believe, if I'm correct, I've ever had only one question in a week. Which is, I'm not concerned as in like, no, oh no, what am I going to do? But a little bit like, okay. It'd seem a little bit of a shame to wave goodbye to the Q&A Friday, because I've kind of got a little bit used to it. It's almost the first regular thing that I've ever really done. Like I'm saying like a lot today, aren't I? Regular as in, well, I guess we all know what regular means, don't we? But I don't know what the solution is. So I'm thinking, if I go onto my website, is there a way, general settings, is there a way I can add something to the top of the page? Header and footer, header layout. Because I'm thinking, if there is, I know what I need to go to the page. So go to pages, because maybe if I can if I edit that, a home page, if I can add a question or a button or voice messages, wow, no, not a voice message, contact form, review form. I wonder what the review form would do. Write a review for hypnosis for sleeping deeply. Blimey, no. Okay, that it brings up a different one for each podcast. So there's too many podcasts. It's a big long old thing. So if I go to intake form. What's an intake form? Anyone? Intake form. Let's have a look what this is. Intake form, your name. Wow. Okay, that's a lot of stuff. What if I can... Nope, it's not allowing me to change stuff. Right, that's no good. No, that's probably more for me to fill in, isn't it? I suppose, so people can know where to go. So let's do another one. So I'm thinking if I can do, what would be quite nice, if I could just have a section and you can ask. So if I could put a contact form at the top, and I don't know if I'm able to edit the contact form layout. I suppose I could put something at the top. So you could just put your name in, email address, and your message. I don't know if it'll allow me to edit what's in the form. Doesn't seem to. Does it seem to? No, that's just added another one. That's no point to that. So maybe I'll do that. I'll put that at the top of the page for the jasonnewland.com website. And then you can just ask your question. You know, add a question that you want for Q&A Friday, and I will just write them down, keep a track of them, and answer them as I get them. Well, not as I get them, but whatever I get before that Friday I'll answer, and then whatever I get the following week leading up I'll answer that as well. That makes sense, I think. So I need to put a header, head in, ask question for Q&A Friday. This is real time, baby. I'm doing this in real time. But I'm not used to doing it like this. How do I get it to be? I don't want largest. I think H2 is fine. I don't need largest. But I do need it to be in the middle. How do I get it into the center? Styles, typography, font. Well, there isn't many choices. Book Antigua. Well, that'll be it. I don't know. Alt text align. That's it. Got it. In the middle. So, is that useful? Ask question for Q&A Friday. For the next. Yeah, I'll update that. So let's have a look how it looks on my website on the phone. jasonnewland.com. Yeah, blimey. Ask question for Q&A Friday. Should it be more than that? Should I ask a question for the next Q&A Friday? What would be the best way to word it? I don't know. I'm going to ask Q&A, ChatGPT. What's the best way to word a title to a form asking for questions for the next Q&A Friday? I mean, I can do it myself. I just thought I'd be interested to see what it comes up with. Got a question for Q&A Friday. See, this is better. This is Ask Me Anything Q&A Friday submission. Or submit your question for Q&A Friday. I think the Ask Me Anything, I quite like that. So, what? Okay, let's get rid of that. Ask Me Anything Q&A Friday submission. Do you think that's okay? I think it's, what you're doing. So, just on Newland. Ask Me Anything Q&A Friday submission. So from now on, we'll just see. We'll see. And see how it goes. So every time I do a recording, I'll just say you can go to my website, ask a question for Q&A Friday, and just go to. In fact, what I could do, I could. I mean, it's going to come on the first page, so I don't need to have it as a separate link, do I really? A separate page. I might do though. But it's on the very first page. So when you go to my website, jasonnewland.com, it's there. Ask Me Anything, Q&A Friday submission. And you just put in your name, put in your email address. You can put any email address, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to respond unless you want me to respond. And then there's just your question. And just under your message. That's it. I could probably change it a little bit, make it a bit more flashy, but I think that's alright. That does the job, doesn't it? Don't need flashy. Just need functional, I would argue. So let me know what you think about it. So the question really is Thailand. So what I thought, I'd just maybe talk about Thailand, as I don't really have. I mean, what did I do? Where did I go? What did I? So yeah, I'll just talk about my time in Thailand, as I don't. That's the only question I've got. So thank you, Hillary. Yeah, so that's what I do. I think the first time I really heard about Thailand, I mean, I heard about it when I was a kid, see it on TV, movies and stuff like that. I didn't realise the connection with Vietnam and all that stuff. Didn't know the history of that. But I think it was more when I got into Buddhism and learned a bit more about Tibet and Japan, China, India, Burma, all the different places where Buddhism was, and Thailand being a Buddhist country. I mean, how many Buddhist countries are there? Not many. Right, I need to spell countries correctly. Oh dear. I still have to look at the keyboard when I type. So there's 12 recognised Buddhist countries in the world where Buddhism plays a significant role in shaping the culture. So the top 10... Really? Why is it doing that? Whoops, the page is gone. Why is the page gone? Right, the page is gone. Buddhist by country. Okay, here we go. So, wow. There's some countries where there's none recognised. Oh, I was going to say Afghanistan is 31,410,000 Buddhists. But no, that's the population of the country. There's about 10,000 Buddhists. This is estimate. I didn't realise there'd be any Buddhists in Afghanistan. Albania, Algeria, American Samoa, Andorra, Angola, about 10,000. Argentina, about 10,000. No, 20,000. Armenia, 10,000. Aruba, 10,000. Australia, 600,000. Well, Australia. Australia has got quite a link to Thailand. There's a link there. There's like a... I don't know how to express it. There's a lot of Australian visitors to Thailand, and I think there's a lot of Thailand visitors to Australia. There's a real, I think, a good, positive connection. I might be wrong, but it seems like it's almost like a family, like they're related in some way. A bit like maybe England and Ireland. There's always going to be that connection, regardless of some of the weird history that went on. I think the average person in England would think of Ireland as being what I do. Did I tell you I'm 48% Irish? I'm going to be saying that until I'm 90. It would never get boring for me. So yeah, I think Australia, so 600,000. Didn't think it would be that many. So it's quite a high. It's still only 2.7%. Austria, 20,000. Azerbaijan, 10,000. I might mispronounce some of these names. Bahamas, 10,000. Bahrain, 30,000. Bangladesh, 1 million. 1,001,000. So that doesn't surprise me, but there is 148,690,000 people there. So it's still 0.6%. So it's still a very, very tiny percentage. But when you consider that India is where Buddhism came from, and the history of Bangladesh and all the other parts of that area, sort of, with the religions and stuff. So, yeah. Barbados, 10,000. Belarus, 10,000. Belgium, 30,000 Buddhists. So it's still 0.2%. That's weird. They've got 10 million people in Belgium. 30,000 is 0.2%. Is it? 30,000, 300,000, 3 million. Yeah, I suppose, blimey. So it's a very small amount. It seems like quite a few people. So yeah, 30,000. Belize, 10,000. Benin, 10,000. Bermuda, 10,000. Used to be more, but they just keep disappearing. Don't hear about the Bermuda Triangle anymore, do we? Used to be such a big thing. It's like the Yeti and the Loch Ness Monster, and there's TV shows and movies about it, and it's almost like no one cares anymore. I still care. Bhutan is one of the most famous Buddhist countries. 74.7% of the country is Buddhist. 540,000. So 730,000 people live in Bhutan. 74.7% is big. So I'd quite like to go there. Because for me, I know some people say, oh, you're going to Thailand, it's just to have a party lifestyle and stuff. It wasn't that party life. I've never been a party lifestyle person in my life. Even when I was young and fruity, I never did. Never, just wasn't really a crowd person. The only place I ever felt comfortable in my life as an adult, like out, like socially, I mean, would be the comedy club that I used to frequent. And I loved that place. It was the only place I really felt at home. So Bolivia, 10,000, 0.1%. Botswana, 10,000. So I'm surprised that there's any. Just because some of the cultures, 10,000, 2 million people in Botswana. Brazil, 250,000. Again, I'm surprised at that. I didn't realise there'd be that many in Brazil. Brunei, 30,000. 8.6%. So that's interesting, because Brunei is, I think it's not known for being a Buddhist place, is it? But it's got one of the higher percentages in the world. You got Bulgaria, 10,000. I didn't think there'd be any Buddhists in Bulgaria. Burkina Faso, 10,000. Because these are very Catholic or Christian countries. Bulgaria is, I'm pretty sure. Cambodia. What? Cambodia. There's 14,140,000 people living in Cambodia. How many people do you think are Buddhist, according to these statistics? 13,690,000. 96.9% in Cambodia. Wow. Cameroon, 10,000. Canada, 280,000. So that's cool. It's still a very tiny amount, percentage-wise, because it's 34 million in Canada. Chad, I've got no idea where that is. That's 10,000. What is Chad? Is it near Brazil? Chile, 10,000. China. See, this surprises me. I know it doesn't really surprise me, but it kind of surprises me now, considering just the way that China is portrayed in the West media, that there's no freedom. Well, according to this, there's 244,130,000 Buddhists in China out of 1.3 billion. So as 18.2%, again one of the countries that one of the world's highest proportions of Buddhists. So I'd like to go to China. I'd like to go and visit the Buddhist temples and maybe even stay in one for a while. But I don't know what the rules are anymore. I really don't know regarding going to China and if we're allowed to go there. I know there's Chinese people who listen to this recording, so hello. See, there's people from Russia, there's people from China, there's people from all over the world, and some countries that block maybe the Western internet, they just use VPNs and they get through that way. So it looks like I've got someone from maybe, I don't know, trying to think of a country, Holland or Brussels or Scotland, but actually they're listening from China because they've got a VPN and they just put a more of a Western country down so they can listen. So hello hello my Chinese friends, my Russian friends, my Egyptian friends, Costa Rican friends, my Cuban friends, Denmark friends, my Bermuda friends. Mind you, I used to have more listeners from Bermuda, but for some reason they just keep vanishing. See, I'm going to keep doing it. I can't help it. Sorry. I have no control. So China is definitely a place I'd like to go to visit because of the Buddhism, really. Costa Rica, Croatia, 10,000, Cyprus, Cuba. I'm thinking, this is just out loud, that the countries when they're putting 10,000 is they don't know. They're just guessing. France, there's 200. I imagine they're guessing anyway. But France, you've got 280,000, which is 0.5% out of 62,790,000. So France has got less people than the UK, or than, the United Kingdom. Germany, 82,300,000. So they got more people, but they got 210,000 Buddhists. Ghana, 10,000. Greece, Guam, Guatemala, Guinea, Guyana, Haiti, Honduras, they've all got about 10,000. Hong Kong has got 13.2%, which is 930,000. But that's in China, isn't it? Ooh, controversial, sorry. 7,050,000. And that's a separate place, but it's now part of China, isn't it, Hong Kong? So it's 930,000. That's, blimey, that's a good amount. Hungary, 10,000. Iceland, 10,000. India, 9,250,000, which is where Buddhism originated from. Some people think it originated from China, but it was India it originated from. India, 1.2 billion, so 0.8%, still a small amount. I mean, India, I think, used to be a Buddhist country, and then, changed. I think it's gone through different phases over the years. Indonesia, 2,062,150. So that's, blimey, there's 266 million people, and 500,000 people living there. So Iran, 10,000. Iraq, 10,000. See, that surprised me, just because I didn't think they'd be allowed. But then that's just the way that these countries are portrayed on the news. Maybe there is more freedom, more religious freedom than is, presented in the media. What else we got? Italy, 110,000 out of 60 million. Jamaica, 10,000. Japan, 45,820,000. So out of 126.5 million, so it's 36.2%. So I knew Japan would be large. I thought it might be larger, but nope. So it's still 36.2%. Still one of the largest ones in the country, in the world. I keep saying country. South Korea, 11 million out of 48 million, so it's 22.9%. That's South Korea. Kuwait is 80,000 out of 2.7 million. So that's interesting. Laos, 4.1 million out of 6.2 million, so it's 66.1%. And you've got other countries: Lebanon, Latvia, Lesotho, Liberia. Girl, you came and you changed my world. Libya, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg. They're like 10,000. Apart from Libya's 20,000, according to this. Macau, 90,000, 17.3%. So that's quite high. Malaysia, 5 million out of 28.4 million, so that's 19.8%. Mexico, Mauritius, Martinique, Malta, Mali, Maldives, 10,000. Blimey, I didn't realise there's so many countries, so I just skipped to the ones where there's actually a lot of people, because this is getting ridiculous. This is taking forever, I tell you. Laos, 4,000,100. Malaysia, did I do that? 5 million, so that's 19.8%. Mongolia, 1.5 million, 55.1%. Burma, or Myanmar, 38.4 million, so it's 89.9%. And Nepal, 2.4 million, so 8.2%. New Zealand, 52,000. And then you've got Netherlands, 40,000. Norway, 30,000. So it's all still a small proportion. But then you've got 50,000 in Peru, still a small proportion of the people. 60,000 in Portugal. 170,000 in Russia. Wow, okay, cool. 90,000. I mean, there's 142.9 million people in Russia, according to this. So it's 0.1%, so it's a very small percentage. 90,000 in Saudi Arabia. Singapore, 1.7 million, so 33.9%. And then you got Sri Lanka, 14.4 million, 69.3%. Taiwan, 4.9 million, is 21.3%. Thailand, 64.4 million, 93.2%. And then you've got Vietnam, 14.3 million, 16.4%. So really, if I go to the just to the percentages, so Cambodia's top at 96.9%, 13.6 million, but Thailand 93.2%, second, but it's got a lot more Buddhists, 64.4 million. So that's why I went to Thailand. That's why I wanted to go there for quite a few years. And there was a few things that appealed to me. It just seems like, what would it be like to be in a Buddhist environment? Unlike here, where the Buddhists go to a centre, and this is not a Buddhist country, and this is where I live, and it's kind of all kind of behind closed doors, kind of, for the Buddhists. I mean, you're free to practice in this country whatever you want to do, but I think the general public probably don't ever hear about Buddhists. They don't make a fuss. They don't, it's kind of quiet, I'd say. But in Thailand, the thing, so I'll go through the thing. There's a thing in Thailand, they've got, I saw this myself and I've seen it on videos on YouTube. There is the monks, because I visited the monastery. It's on this massive hill, and the steps, and it was hard walking up there. If I was going to do it again, it'd have to be early morning or in the evening, because it's way too hot, or have someone carry me. When I say someone, I mean probably someone drag me. It'd have to be a horse or something. And China has got more Buddhists than anywhere. I just realised that, blimey. China's got the most Buddhists. China, it's not the biggest percentage, but 244 million Chinese Buddhists. And then Thailand's second at 64. So I realised I couldn't just go to China. There's visas, and there's visas for Thailand as well, but it's a lot easier, it was, to go to Thailand. And basically what happened is I wanted to go. I've not really talked about this, but I received a back payment which was owed to me from money that I should have been getting. I didn't, going back for a few years. So they called me up and sent that to me. So what I did is at the time, paid off my debts, paid off bills, paid off phone contracts, paid off all the different things, got some new equipment for this place, for the recording, and gave some of it away to friends. And then that's when I went over I thought, I can go to Thailand. So I did. Got the did it during, there was still needed a COVID pass at that time, even though we was out of it. In Thailand, they were still all wearing masks, and also in the airports and all that stuff. Not in England, but in Thailand, and on the plane, if you can believe that, had to wear a mask for 12 hours. You know, when it came to eating, because there was 2 meals during that time, I've never spent so long chewing on a little bit of food as I did that day. I must have spent about 3 hours eating my dinner, because it was such a break to not have that mask on, because it was very, very stifling, you know, to sort of be stuck with it. And they keep coming around and telling people, put your mask on, put your mask on. I mean, it's nice that, you know, the good thing about that period is I was being asked to put a mask on because everyone else had to, not just to cover up my face for other people because they were complaining. So it's nice, you know, there's a reason for it. And so got there. What was weird is, so I got my friend to look after my flat. I wasn't gone for long anyway, a couple of weeks or whatever, but I just had to, because I'd lost Andre a few months earlier, and I was very aimless at that time. You know, I was living on my own again. I didn't have anyone with me. I had Andre with me for 6 years, 6.5 years or whatever, 5.5 years. It's before I got Vinny. I got Vinny at the end of the year of that year, 2023, I think it was. So I just thought, or was it 22? I really lose track. I think it's probably 22, wasn't it? 2021, yeah, 2022. End of 22, 23, 24, 20, yeah, 22. Yeah, so it was 2022. And so I go over. I booked a hotel. It's just everything over there is fairly cheap. It's not an expensive place to go. The airfares are now like, they went up to about double, 3 times the amount, because just after that whole period, the fuel went up. So I managed to go there before the air flights went up. And I had a couple of things in mind what I wanted to do. I was open to the idea of meeting someone, because I was led to believe it's a very friendly place, and maybe I might meet a female and go on dates. Who knows? I didn't know, but I was open to it. And that is the kind of place, it's very friendly. People are friendly there. There's no... What I did find out is, talking to some of the Thai girls, the Thai ladies, to them, they're very, very upfront, very straight, don't mince their words. And one of them said to me, you know, you all look the same to us. I said, what do you mean? He said, you just all look the same. You all got big noses. Because here, I've got a big nose, but in Thailand, pretty much all Westerners have got big noses, because they've got little noses over there. So it's that in their mind, like, you just got a big nose, you're English or you're American or European. They know straight away. And they've got names. They've got like Arab, English, American. I think Arab kind of covers anyone from, like, in their mind, like anyone from like India, from the Arabian, you know, it's like they kind of class as an Arab which is, I always thought you don't say the word Arab, but I just do. And also, when it comes, because I think, I tell you that it's the best place to go for a trans person. Because if you want to walk down the street, test it out. If you want to test out dressing the way that you want to dress, you can do that in Thailand. And no one cares. I mean, technically, you can probably do it in London as well. Maybe some of the other cities. I mean, I've seen people in London walk around in dressing gowns in the middle of winter, in snow, eating an ice cream. So, I've seen some of the weirdest things. Probably the weirdest thing I saw in Thailand was someone on a bicycle with a ladder, but it was like it wasn't a foldable ladder, it was a full ladder, probably 6 foot. But instead of having it on the side, he had it on front of him, so it was like stretching out both sides of the road, and he's riding along like that. I was like, what? How? I was banging the microphone in. How? Why? So that was one of the weirdest things I saw. But when I had this idea what I wanted to do. I needed a break because I was taking care of my friend, and that was just getting harder and harder. I needed a break from that. I gave him some money, and I just needed, because it was just getting too much for me. And having lost Andre, and I don't want to go all serious, but yeah, I started having panic attacks again for the first time. I mean, regularly for the first time in years. Like properly full on, constantly, all the time, kind of that moment, that situation. And it's like reverting back to 2006. And I didn't think that would happen again. And I couldn't get a grip of them. I couldn't seem to sort out it couldn't sort of, it's almost like I was struggling, really struggling. And I was also getting, what's that thing where your ears go and you're kind of dizzy and stuff? I was getting that as well. So it was all weird. I was going through some weird things at that time. And then I thought, I'm just going to go. So I went out there. On the plane, my ears popped. And that's the last time I had any ear problems, balance problems, or whatever you call it. I forget the term. I know the term, but I forget what it is. But it's the last time that happened, because both my ears popped on the plane. An expensive cure, to be fair, but it cleared whatever was going on in my ears. In vertigo, that's it. It cleared it, and I haven't had it since. I used to have it a few years ago, but that was caused through burst eardrum. This seemed to be caused by stress or something. I don't know what it was. Grief. It could be anything, all kinds of stuff. So I needed to get away. So I got away. I went there, stayed in this hotel. I think one of my happiest memories, and it's going to be weird to say this, but one of my happiest times was sitting on the veranda, and this hotel was in a back alley, so it wasn't even like near the sea or anything. I wasn't far from the sea. And I was sitting on the veranda, taking in the smells. And that's the one thing about, I don't know about the whole of Thailand, but anywhere I went, it smelled nice. Because of the food. It's like just, there's a lot of street food, and it just smelled nice. There was no horrible smells. And the Thai people, probably amongst the cleanest people I've ever been around, they have multiple showers a day because of the heat, because it's so hot and stuff. And it's like, wow, I had more showers in a day than I do in a year. I shouldn't say that out loud, should I? But yeah, it was a very clean place from that perspective. What I did find weird though, I find it weird, is there was hardly any hot water. It was just warm. Like here, I'm used to. I mean, I don't scold my hands when I wash my hands, but I wash my hands quite regularly. Every time I go out, because we share the banister and stuff, outside in the hallway, and I always wash my hands when I get back, just so that I've got rid of any. Who knows what people have been doing with their hands? I don't know. I know what I've been doing with mine. So when I was out there, it just wasn't hot. The water wasn't hot to a level that I was used to, which is very strange. Maybe that's why they have so many showers, because it's like keeping a constant cleanliness thing. I mean, I don't know if every single person has lots and lots of showers, but it's the whole time I was out there, I didn't meet one bad smelling person at all. No Thai person that smelt weird. Not weird, but when it's hot, there's a tendency, just naturally you're gonna come across the odd whiffy person. It's just natural, especially blimey on the tube. That's the person I was always stuck under their armpit and I couldn't get out. That was always, yeah. I loved the tube. No, I didn't. So that was strange though. I just not having any hot water, that threw me off a bit. But one of my happiest memories of being there was sitting on the veranda. The first few mornings there was no food in the restaurant, because they had like a Thai restaurant part of the hotel, but because of that period, 2021, pretty much most of the tourism in Thailand, and I'd say probably the whole of the world, pretty much closed down. So there wasn't a lot open when I went there. A lot of restaurants were closed, a lot of bars were closed. Not that I'm really a bar person anyway, but there was a lot of things were not open. They either hadn't reopened them, or they were closed completely. There was parts of the area that were completely derelict, that 2 years earlier had been really busy. So, and the only real regular people I were getting was people that lived a bit closer. So they had people from India, they had people from Emirates, they had people from Australia coming over, but they weren't getting a lot of. They're still getting like Americans and English, but because of the restrictions, they weren't getting as many as they would normally get. This is what I was told. None of the hotels were full, so it was fairly cheap, the rooms. I mean, I think if that was in this country, what the hotels in this country would do is put the prices up to try and get their money back. But they didn't do that. They just treated people fairly because they were happy to have the customers. The mentality in this country is, well, if you've got 100 rooms and I can only fill 50, then we'll try and charge them twice the price so we can, get the money back for the other 50 rooms that we're not filling. But the way they see it over there more is, well, actually, we're grateful to have 50 rooms full, so we'll let people have a cheaper time. Maybe stay for 10 or 20% off the price, because they've got such a choice of other hotels to stay in. So that's I quite like that. But that was nice sitting on that veranda, or that balcony rather. I bought some paper. What are they called? Paper dishes and some paper spoons or plastic spoons to eat, and I got some breakfast cereal, little boxes of breakfast cereal, and some milk. Put it in the fridge, and a cup of coffee. So I had coffee anyway there. So I had a cup of coffee and my cornflakes on the veranda, the balcony. What's the difference between a veranda and a balcony? And I'm listening to my phone. I'm listening to LBC radio, and it was Steve Allen, who does his 4 o'clock to, well, he used to do a 4 till 7 in the morning radio show, just a talk show where he'd just talk. He didn't have phone-ins, but he would read out, text messages and stuff like that. And I just remember, I don't know what time of the day it was. For me, it was, blimey, it's probably morning for me. Maybe 10 o'clock in the morning or something. But it was just nice. It's very peaceful. And it wasn't busy really. It wasn't really busy where I was. It was quite a quiet kind of little area. Wasn't a lot going on. The tourism was probably, I'd say probably 10% what it would normally be. Which is why there was only 10% of the places open probably. And I just thought, so I had me dinner, had me breakfast. But the very first night I got there, I went and had a look around. I went for a walk. Didn't know where I was going. But the good thing about, if you go to a seaside resort in Thailand, again, I don't know if all the places are the same, but it's well lit. There's a lot of people around because it's a tourist destination. It's the safest I've ever felt walking around at 2 in the morning. I mean, never ever felt safe, really, because the only time I'd walk around at 2 in the morning was when I was in London, and I mean, London 2 in the morning is not. Yeah, I just never, even as a young person, it wasn't that I was worried, but I never really felt I felt on guard. But here, I didn't feel on guard at all. It seemed like the sort of place where, if you want trouble, you can have it. It's like, if you want trouble, they give it to you. But if you don't, they're fine. It's like anywhere, really. If you want to be a troublemaker, it's very easy to get into trouble anywhere you go. But there, you won't. My experience is I felt safe. That's pretty much what I'm saying. And I got to know a few of the people and some of the Buddhist parts of their life. So basically they're indoctrinated into it. They're born into Buddhism. Now, they have Buddhist holidays. They also absolutely love their royal family out there. I mean, like, in a way that maybe we used to in this country. They're really important to them. I mean, I know there are people out there in this country that love the royal family, but I'm talking as a nation, there's a real loyalty to the royal family in Thailand. They're almost like, let's say royalty, I suppose, but they're very, it's hard to explain what I mean, but it's huge. When there's a birthday, there's no alcohol sold. When there's a royal day, so if it's the king's birthday or whatever, something like that, no alcohol during that day. They're still open, bars will still open, but it'll be soft drinks only. And they'll actually tell people, because I went in on the day I went, no, the day after I went there, it was a bank holiday due to a member of the royal family. I think it was a king's birthday. And I went in, and there was this bar, and I wasn't bothered about drinking alcohol anyway. I was still a bit jet lagged. I needed something to eat, and so I sat down, and the first thing I was told is, you can't serve you alcohol. I said, that's all right. And she said, what? I said, that's okay. I'm not bothered. I don't care if I drink alcohol. She said, huh? Turned out she couldn't speak English. No. She said, what? She was surprised, because I think most people that go there are going to drink, and I wasn't really that bothered. So I had something to eat. Can't remember what I had. What did I have to? I found a burger and chips and a Coke. That's back in the days when I was drinking Coca-Cola, unlike now when I just drink water. Don't even drink alcohol anymore. Blimey. And I think so there was a lady called Ella there. I don't know, I just really liked her, because we were talking and she had the same kind of energy as me, quite low key. I'm quite low energy, really. I mean, I have my moments. I do have my moments, but doesn't everyone? But I'm quite low energy. I'm quite quiet. I don't get. I'm not the most excitable person, really. I'm not particularly loud. And we seem to get on quite well. Now, you're going to just probably, I don't know, I'm telling you this, but anyway. Was it Ella, or was it Bella, or was it Stella, or was it Guy, or was it Nom? I don't know. I forget what her name was, but she invited me. I'm thinking of Ella because there's someone, a big brother called Ella. That's why I'm thinking of that name. She said, so I went in there a couple of days in a row. I think the first night or was it the second night? Because I went in there because I quite liked the vibe in there. And she said, I got talking to another bloke. He was from Ireland, and he just, he was just chatting and stuff, and they were closing up, and we were going out, and he was going back with the other waitress, or there was two managers. He was, I don't know if that was his girlfriend or what, and she said, oh, bring Jason back, and the other one said, no, don't know him. And I thought, I don't care, it's fine. I mean, I don't know, I didn't ask to go anywhere anyway. Well, a couple of nights later I went back, and she's just there on her own, and at the end of the night she offers to take me home. And this is a bit where I should be saying, well, I'd like to be saying, I went home and it was the best night of my life. We fell in love, and we got married, and we're going to spend the rest of my life with her. I say about the rest of our lives together, but she's a fair bit younger than me. I don't know how much. I would say it's hard to guess. Under 30, I would say. Maybe older, but it's hard. I met someone else that I got on with. She was 38 and didn't look. I would never have guessed her age. I'm no good at guessing ages anymore. Not that I ever was. I don't know if I ever was that good, but I think there was a period when I was in my 20s and I could kind of gauge an age. If someone was 19 or someone was late 20s, maybe early 30s. But as I got older, people in their early 20s some of them look really, really young. And then some people in their 60s look really, really young. It's like, how can you can't be... I know a couple of people, and they're both... Blimey, I think they're both like nearly 80. And neither of them look it. It's like, how can you be nearly 80? So it's... Someone did say to me, she said, well, you look younger than you are, but it probably wouldn't do if you took your glasses off and we could see your eyes. Because I got like shades on my glasses, Actolite or whatever. I thought it's a bit rude. If anything, I'll probably look younger without the glasses. Probably not. So, in those situations, all you can do, you can argue, or you can just silently fart and walk away. So I chose to do that. So so we didn't have a romance, and I didn't. What I did is, first of all, I thought, yay, but it wasn't, do you want to come back to mine? It was, let's go then. And she called two moped taxis. She had her own moped, but she left it there because she'd had a couple of drinks. So she got a moped taxi for herself and one for me. And I said, no. I said, no way in the world am I getting on the back of that. And I'm not sure days gone past when I wish that I'd just got on the back of the moped, because I put fear ahead of pleasure, maybe. Fear ahead of... I wasn't scared of her, I was just scared of the motor journey, the being on a moped. Just having seen the way they ride those mopeds in and out of the traffic, like seeing that, and then thinking this is going to happen at like 11 o'clock at night, or half 11 at night, and it was dark at that point, and I didn't know where we were going. You know, there's like part of me thinking, and this is my friend's, he put this image in my head. He kept saying, well, be careful you don't go home with someone and wake up in a bar full of ice, or one of your organs missing. It's like, brilliant. Like, thanks for that. I really wanted that in my head. And I was thinking, this lady, seriously, you can say up my street, you know, as far as, she just really lovely. I liked her a lot. But I did think, well, maybe, I don't know, am I just, is she going to sort of try and make some money from me by, I'm going to wake up with only one liver, you know? So I thought, oh, maybe. But it was more the moped, to be fair. And then there was also, I'm thinking, maybe she's just being friendly, and she takes me back to her place and introduces me to her boyfriend or her husband, and she's just being friendly, just a friendly person. Because that happened in Bulgaria. I spent all day talking to a waiter. She was worked behind a bar, so I think she's like the bar manager. All day in a hotel. This is when I went snowboarding, but I'd spent the day before travelling down a mountain on my face, so I took a day off. I was teaching her English, she was teaching me Bulgarian. It was just me and her pretty much for hours and hours. And then in the evening, when my fellow travellers that I travelled there with got back from the mountain slopes, you know, we went and had a dinner, try not to laugh at the music act, and then it's just, I don't know, I'm not used to having music being played on a meeting. You know, when someone starts playing a harpsichord and it's like, what, and starts dancing, it's like, this is confusing my senses. we were in this bar, which is part of our hotel. Where I went to was part of another kind of hotel part, because all part of this big old complex, and there was this like underground tunnels and stuff. And I just followed them until I found other places to go to. It didn't seem to even be part of the hotel. It was like part of something else. Anyway, I'm in the bar, another bar, with my friends that I've travelled to Bulgaria with, and this bloke came up to me, tapped me on the shoulder, and he looked exactly how he was. He was a gangster, like proper gangster. It's like it's hard to explain, but I would bet any money I had that he had a gun on him. And he said he pointed, and he's like, the lady that I've been talking to all day. He says, "That's my fiance." I mean, that's when I thought I really am gonna wake up in ice on a mountain. And she comes over, and he says, and I thought, oh God, I don't know what to say here, because I really liked her. I didn't realise I didn't ask if she had a boyfriend or anything, because I was just chatting to her. It was nothing, I wasn't flirting really, just having a nice conversation during that whole day. And she said, and she came over smiling, and I thought, I wonder if he's smiling. I didn't look, and I think he might have still had his hand on my shoulder, and my knees were shaking. My knees were shaking. That sounds like a song, doesn't it? And my hips were weak. And he said, I understand, in an accent, you've been teaching whatever her name was, to some English words, and I said, she's been teaching you some Bulgarian. I said, yeah. He said, oh, very good, very good. I'm like, blimey. It's so cool, because I think it's probably the only time ever that I've been thankful that I wasn't good looking. Because I clearly was not a threat to him in any way. And I don't mean just physically, but I wasn't like a threat to his relationship. Not like I was some handsome, strapping, handsome guy that's going to try and steal his fiancée away. He didn't see any threat in that at all, which was good for me, really. It's the only time I've ever been grateful that I look like I do. And he liked me, bought me a drink, and he was chatting to me, and they were chatting, and she was like, talking to me, and it's like really nice. I didn't know what to do next. I still wasn't sure, because I'd seen The Sopranos. I mean, The Sopranos hadn't finished. The Sopranos were still going strong in those days, because this was 2002, probably about March time. So The Sopranos was still, not its infancy, because it went on to about 2010, didn't it? Well, I suppose infancy, yeah, I guess. But I wasn't sure how this was going to play out. But it went okay. I mean, I'm here, so it's fine. And then that was just strange. Very strange. Yeah, I mean, it's not Thailand, it's a different story. It's just, when I go abroad, or in the past when I've gone abroad, I seem to be different. Maybe a bit more confident, maybe a bit more relaxed, maybe a bit freer, I don't put any effort in. I'm not kind of like trying to get to know anyone, just see what happens, let it happen naturally. But on that occasion, I got to know 4 women. 5, actually, 5. So there was, the first waitress was I say when I get to know, I didn't do anything with anyone, but we got to know them. The first one was the very first waitress that served us, and I had a cheese toasty sandwich, and it was the very first day we got there to the hotel. And she smiled at me. I mean, some would view it and say she caught me looking down her top, but I'm just going to stick to she smiled at me. And she did smile at me when she caught me. I mean, she smiled, and we had a bit of a connection. Like, she chatted to me, and the next day I was in there, and we decided to go out on a date. Yeah, I think like the next evening when she finished work. We're going to go to a restaurant or something. So I went into the bar to see her. And there was this other bar, the other side of the place. It's in the middle of nowhere. Again, I kind of found my way around these places because I spent a lot of time on my own just wandering around. And I got in there and she was just basically talking to another bloke. And she waved to me, but then she carried on talking to this bloke. So I left. The next day, I went to a pizza place that was there that I found, and I got on really well with the lady in the pizza place. And we were like talking and maybe talking about maybe doing something. And then I got to know the other one in the other bar, the one that I told you about at the beginning. So what happened is, it's very strange. The one that I was supposed to go on a date with, and she was talking to another bloke, I saw her 2 days later. I think she might have had the day off. Saw her 2 days later. And the first thing she said is, "Where were you?" I said, "I was there. I'm not, you saw me, I waved to you." She said, "Where did you go?" I said, "Well, you was talking to some bloke." Okay. And she had the hump with me. Like, I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "I got talking to a friend of mine." I said, "Okay." She said, "Yeah, I told her." She said to me, "Oh, I just met this English man. He's really lovely, and I got on really well with him." And I said, "Yeah, same here." And we both said, "What's his name?" "It's Jason." "It's you. We both met you." And like I was playing them against each other, which I wasn't. I just only met them. I hadn't gone out with either of them, really. I like to sound like some kind of playboy, but it wasn't like that at all. But she wasn't happy. And ironically, the very, very first night when I got there, the receptionist, I really liked the receptionist. I think I was going through a little phase of liking people. I really liked the receptionist who, we spoke to very first of all. And then she disappeared. Didn't see her till the very last night. And she came up to me the very last night and was sort of talking to me. And I was like, okay, yeah. I don't know. I couldn't be bothered to talk to anyone. I thought I'd had enough of people by then. I'd maybe had enough to drink and stuff. But the next day, because I didn't recognise her because she hadn't been there the whole week, other than that one time when we first got there. So we go to log out, I think we had to collect our passports and whatever to leave. And she's on the reception. I was like, "Oh my God, it's you." She said, "Yeah." I didn't realise it was her. She was trying to talk to me the night before, and I just couldn't be bothered. Not in a rude way. I think I just had enough. I wanted to go home, really. And she came out and followed me to the coach and saw me off on the coach and gave me a big hug, and I'm not sure if she gave me a kiss, I can't remember. We made love in the snow. We didn't. While everyone watched from the bus. We were on top of the bus. No, we wouldn't. No, nothing like that happened. But she did, like, give me a big hug and everything. Like, what's going on? Why? It's almost like I was suddenly became attractive to women out of nowhere for a week. And then when I got back to the UK, I went back to being invisible again. It's like brilliant. Then, I think 3 days or 2 days before we left, I met this other lady from Germany. And we were just chatting and we went for a little walk, and she grabbed me and started kissing me and everything. And she pulls me to the elevator, to the lift, to go up to my room, right? And just as the lift door's about to close, what happens? This hand comes through and stops the doors from closing, and it's her friend. Her friend doesn't want her to have fun. So there's a term for that now, isn't there? It's two words. One's blocking. I was blocked by her, and it was weird. I was like, okay, fair enough. Yeah, just we were both of us probably a little bit tipsy or whatever, but she's the one that kind of made the moves. But her friend, blimey, she didn't want her friend to have any fun. So there was that done as well. I just had to accept. Okay, fair enough. See ya. I need a poo anyway. Bye. I was pooing a lot when I went there. Couldn't believe it. It really changed my whole body being there. So I don't know if it was the altitude or if it was the food. Maybe a little bit too much alcohol. I don't know. But yeah. Nice fresh air though. That was nice. And then there was the twins. No, there wasn't. I'm just... So I did go and say goodbye to all three of the women that I'd kind of got to know a little bit. Not the German one, 'cause I didn't see her again, I don't think. I might have done. I think she was with her family though. It's like a family holiday, so I was like, okay, better keep away. But I went to see the other three. So there's one that worked in one bar. There's another one worked in a pizza place, and the other one worked in a restaurant downstairs, not near the reception. So I went to each one and said goodbye. And it was just like, I thought, well, I've not dated anyone. I've not actually gone out anywhere. So I'll just say goodbye, you know. And they were all... One of them even took me into a room away from the bar, and it was like a storage room. And there was nothing in there but just empty, but there was a few storage, I guess, some crates of Coke cans or whatever, and that was it, and closed the door and just looked at me as like, what am I supposed to do now? I literally had about half an hour to get on the bus, and I just didn't know what she wanted. And because I'm so naive and I was quite a young person back then. I was only 31. Yeah, I was still 31. So I was a young'un then. I was only a youngster. I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. But she gave me a big hug. didn't seem to want to let me go, pick me up, rattled me around a little bit. I didn't mind, to be honest. I mean, yeah, I feel quite happily would have sort of brought her home with me and possibly got married. I know it does, life doesn't work like that. I'll just bring someone home and get married, but there seemed to be a connection. Maybe there wasn't. I feel like I'm making this up. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Maybe I am. What else? So yeah, that was good. And then I got the address. Oh yeah, one of them gave me her address and telephone number, but I tried to contact, but didn't seem to. They gave me my I tried to phone. That's it. I tried to phone. I got one of those, those cards that you can phone abroad and stuff, but it didn't seem to work. It was, the language barrier was definitely an issue. It'd be easier now with all the different apps, and this is before Facebook and WhatsApp and all the different ways to communicate with people. There was no smartphones back then, and it would have been easy, much easier to sort of keep in contact with someone. So what happened then is, in Thailand, so I did meet someone else, but at this point I had a broken rib, and I wasn't really interested in her as a other than just as a tourist guide, really. She sort of showed me around, but she did sort of try and take advantage of me, I think, financially a little bit, but I wasn't that bothered. And then she, in a place, this is where I met her, because this man said, can you buy me some food? So I said, all right then. He actually came up to me and said, have you got any money? I said, have you? What are you asking me if I've got any money for? Well, what's in your wallet? What's in your wallet? And he got his wallet out and said, look, nothing. And he was a taxi driver, but there was no customers. I said, so why are you asking? What are you showing me your wallet for? And he said, I'm hungry, can I have some food? I said, I'm sure you'll find someone to give you food. He said, well, you get me some food. I said, yeah, all right. And he said, what is this way? And he led me. I didn't realise he owned the place he led me to. Actually had his name on the front. I don't know if he owned it or rented it or it was a family thing. But, he was hungry as well. There was no customers. There was no one in there. There's this little bar, restaurant. It wasn't really a restaurant, more takeaway. So I gave him the food, gave his fellow taxi driver, because I had moped taxis, gave them food, and then I just left, went for a walk. Later on in the evening, I forget all about it, and I walk past, and they all start shouting for me to come in. And I didn't know who they were, because I didn't realise where I was, because it was all still new. And they were so, come in, let me give you a drink. And they were all over me, being nice to me and stuff. Very, very friendly. So I stayed in there for a couple of hours, had some drinks, and met this person that was very friendly as well. But, it sort of became my tour guide for a few days, showed me around and that. But I had this idea. Maybe I was a little bit drunk, but I had an idea. I thought, and this is something I'd thought about before, because I'd seen on YouTube during 2020 and 2021, because the tourists pretty much had disappeared, completely for about 2 years. The people that would normally work didn't have any money for food, didn't have any food. So there was charities and there was YouTubers and all stuff giving out food to people queuing up along the beach. Some people were running along to get the food, and they were just giving food out off the back of trucks and stuff like that. I didn't see that when I got there, but I did think to myself before I got there, I want to give some food out. I wasn't expecting to do it the way I did it, but I was thinking it's been a dream really to be able to do something like that on a bigger scale than just giving someone a burger from McDonald's who's sitting in a shop, what do you call it? A shop entrance. And I thought it'd be nice to do something that was like a one-off situation that I'm possibly never going to be able to do again. So what I decided is, I said to the lady who was running this place which sells food, and there's like a little bar as well where I got the food from during the day for the taxi drivers or the motorbike taxi drivers, I said to her, actually I said to the person I was talking to that became my guide, I got an idea. She said, what's that? I said, what if because she was telling me how people were hungry and how there was she was pointing out the bar she used to work at, which had a pool table in it. It was just like a small bar, but it was empty. She was living upstairs in pretty much a derelict room, didn't have anything, didn't have, so it was like living from one day to the next. And I kind of became a meal ticket for a little while, which, it is what it is, it's fine. But she sort of pointed me towards the lady that was in charge of that place, of the place we were sitting in. And I said, well, how much would it cost to give away a meal and a drink? Like a meal and a bottle of water, I think, something like that. And she was working out. She said, how many do you want to do? I said, well, depends how much they are each. Bearing in mind I had to try and figure out the currency change, from pounds to Thai baht, or Thai baht to pounds, the conversion. And I was like, okay, well, roughly what would it be? And I couldn't even tell you how much it was per meal. But we decided to do a lot of meals. I don't know what it was, 100, 250, 200, I can't remember. And then, so we did that, and they were all like stacked up. There's actually a photograph of me on one of my podcasts with the staff there. They're all like hugging me. And most of the people I gave the food out to were coming on mopeds. Because even though the job was taxi drivers, they didn't really have any customers. So I gave out, not just me, the other staff did as well. Everyone kind of mucked in and gave out the food, but it went really quickly, really quickly. And then they kept cooking more, and she said, do you want me to cook more? She said, I bought more, I can cook it if you want. And I lost track. I lost track of what I was spending. I lost track of what I was giving away. And I did it the next day as well. I think I did twice as much the next day. Yeah, I spent a lot on that. It's the most, a lot. I think I've never spent that much money in one day, I don't think, for that kind of thing before. But it was one of the best experiences of my life. Giving away food to people that were hungry. I can't think of anything really better than that. What could be more useful in a way? I know it's short-term solution, but it's still, I mean, it might be a short-term solution, but it's going to mean a hell of a lot to the person that's eating. And how do I know? Just because I've given out a meal to someone, they might be sharing that with 3 people. They might be taking it home to their kid and not eating anything themselves. You know, I don't know. I find out after the 3rd day, and this is weird, I find out after the 3rd day that I was being charged Western prices for the food. So I was being charged the same amount as I would have been charged if I'd have gone in there as a tourist to order a meal. That's how much I would have been charged, and I got charged that amount for each and every meal. But if it had been a Thai, I'd have gone in there and ordered the same thing. It would have been probably 1/3 of the price. But they charged me the full price. And the lady that was going to be like, give me a bit as a tour guide, she told me after about the 4th day, she said she fell out with them over it, but she said she couldn't tell me because I seemed so happy doing what I was doing, and they told her, don't you dare tell them. Because I think she was also her boss for the other bar when it reopens, and just, I didn't go back there after that. I didn't go back. I just, once I found that out, I was a bit... See, it wasn't even about the money. It was about the simple fact that I could have given twice, no. Well, I was only giving away I was only giving away 1/3 of what I could have been giving away. I could have given away 2/3 more food and meals to people that needed it, and I wasn't. And that's hundreds of meals that I didn't get to give away. So that was, I didn't like that. That kind of left a little bit of a horrible... I mean, I understand they want to get paid for the work because they were cooking and it was hard work and that. But wouldn't they get paid? Don't they take that out of the... That would be the wages they would take anyway, isn't it? If they're not going to work for nothing when they give away the food to the Thai people, they're still going to make a profit, still going to cover their wages and cover their costs. And bearing in mind how many, I can't imagine any day in her history that she would have sold as many meals as that in a day, ever, than what she did that day, those 2 days with me. And all she had to do was cook. She didn't have to deal with anyone else. And at the end, I think she said, "Oh, can you pay my assistant? Give her a bit more money." I just said yes, but I thought, oh, blimey, this is before I realised I'd been ripped off. So, yeah, I said it wasn't about the money, rather than about I could have given more free stuff out. So that was weird. I quite like some of the Buddhist rituals that they do. I like the bowing. That's nice. It's very respectful. The I going to say? Oh yeah, even when they're drinking, they'll chuck a bit of the drink into the street, like an offering to the Buddha. So it's kind of, even though they're doing, technically as a Buddhist, shouldn't really, it is like a non-toxicant religion. You don't take toxicants. It's one of the I don't want to say rules, or one of the things, but it's less that they're Buddhists as in not meditating and not practicing, but they have a monk practice for them. So the monk will come down from the mountain or from the monastery, and they will give offerings to the monk in the form of usually food. And then the monk will say some prayers for them. And they'll sit there and just have the monk offer prayers to them. So it's a give and take situation. So the monk sits in the monastery all day meditating and practicing for the rest of the people in Thailand. And they can just get on with their lives and not have to do that. So it's a very different way to how the Western meditators work. Really. I mean, it is and it isn't. I mean, I say we, I'm not that involved. I haven't been involved for years, really. In my mind I am, but in practice I'm not. Yeah. I'm trying to think other things. You know what? Oh, this is the irony. When I got back, my tour guide started contacting me, asking me for stuff. So I ended up buying her a television, ended up sending her money, all these kinds of things by, I forget what it's called, some app. And in the end, I just had to cut her off because she was just kept asking for more. More. But she was a good tour guide. So I paid her to take me around, paid her for everything that she needed, food. We went, fed the dogs, we got food off what's it? There's this street food vendor, and he was making these like meat stick things on sticks, almost like kebabs, I suppose. And there'd be 3 in a pack, and maybe they'd had vegetables on them as well. And I bought the entire stall, and we walked through the beach. And it's good to have her with me because she knew who not to approach. She said, "Don't go near them. They don't like foreigners." Because some people didn't like the, people. She just knew who was who. So we would give out the food along the beach. And I thought, and then we walked back after doing that. I couldn't believe that stall was full again, full of food. I thought I'd done him a favour. You can go home now. Nope. It just appeared out of nowhere. It's almost like he just shook it like a magic trick and all the food was there again. Wow. So we got a load of more food and fed the dogs. So there's a lot of stray dogs around. So we started feeding dogs. Some of them just have to kind of chuck the meat and let them eat it. And there was this big pound with massive gate. And there's like waste ground or whatever, and there was huge amounts of dogs behind there. So I'd be chucking food over there for them. And it was cool. I got to do things that I probably never would get to do here. I mean, can't go around feeding stray dogs in the UK because there ain't none really. There's not going to walk on a beach and give out food to people sunbathing on a beach because they probably don't want that. It's a different scenario. Plus, people aren't sleeping on the beach at night in this country. Well, maybe they are. I don't know. I've not been everywhere, but there was a lot of people on the beach late at night, just sleeping. So there was that. Another thing I quite liked is there was this. This sounds like I'm just bragging about what I did, but this is just what I did. It's not really bragging. Just it was something I'm glad I got to do. And yeah, so I did a few other things like that as well, but I'm glad I got to do that. Yeah, I am. It's a shame I don't think it kind of worked out so well as what I would have wanted it to, but it was a great experience to be able to do that. So yeah, that was my Thailand, one of my Thailand journeys. I think I've talked forever about this now, so I didn't have any other questions. So yeah, thank you. Thank you. What I'm going to do, wait a minute, I'm going to go onto my website, okay, go into my website and let me see if it works. So if I go to jasonnewland.com, ask me anything, Q&A Friday submission, right at the top of the page. So I'm going to put in, right, Willy Warmer, email, Willy Warmer at boobies.com. So my question, have you, I like to give different weird funny names, have you always been so handsome? Right, so that's the question. So I'll see what comes through. Let's have a look. So I'm going to submit that. Oh, it's asking me, am I a robot? No, I'm not a robot. Sending. The message was sent successfully. So let me see if the message came up in the junk mail. Oh, it has. Let me click. So the message from Willy Warmer. Oh dear. This message sent from jasonnewland.com, Willy Warmer, email willywarmer@boobies.com, form type contact, have you always been so handsome? There's no D in that, so I should have done it wrong. So it works. So if you have questions for next Friday, you can start adding now, so that next Friday I can actually answer some questions rather than. I mean, this has been like more like an ordinary let me bore you to sleep, really, isn't it? Which is fine, but it's just weird. I didn't think I'd ever have a week where it was just one question, because I haven't the whole time I've been doing this. And the Q&A Fridays, when was the first one? I don't know if I've got it. I've got let's have a look. Q&A Friday, 172 episodes. Okay, that's with all the different ones. So let's see. When was the first one? The first one was... Oh my goodness. You won't even believe this. That you might be asleep now, but if you are awake, you won't believe it. The very first Q&A Friday was the 10th of April 2024, and it's now the 11th of April 2025. So I've literally done every single week since then. I don't know if I've missed any out. I'm pretty sure I've done every week. In fact, I'm pretty sure I have. Blimey. Wow. Wow. A year. So this is a year of Let Me Bore You to Sleep, and it's probably the worst one yet. One question. I should have put that. If I'd have known that, I could have put the first year anniversary Q&A Friday. Vinny's moaning now. I don't know what he wants. Wow, blimey. Okay, anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you for listening. Remember, Q&A. Oh, tonight is the eviction night for Celebrity Big Brother. I think that's on at 9 o'clock. So I'll be watching that at 9. It's now 7:15, which means I'll probably get myself some food. And then I will watch the end of a movie that I started to watch. Or actually, no, what I'll do, I'll probably watch something while I do that. Or maybe I'll try and edit this now. I want to get this edited before Big Brother starts. It's either that or I'll do it first thing in the morning. I'd kind of like to do it tonight. Yeah, we'll see. So thank you for listening. Thank you, Hillary, for your question. Sorry there was only one answer to give. So please, thank you for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself. And also be gentle with yourself. Because you deserve to be happy. And you do deserve to feel safe. Lots of love. Bye.